I feel like I missed out on the opportunity of growth because I hadn't put myself out there and allowed myself to go through that process of being scrutinized and judged. I think if I would have did that early on, I would be much better. I think if I wasn't so isolated to myself and had community around me, that would have helped out. But what do you say to like that guy that kind of like talks like me that feel like it's too late?
I don't think it's too late. I don't think it's too late. I just think you just got to get started.
So I got something else too. So like, I'll show you off camera. I'll show you off camera where you can like monetize it.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, yeah. So
Are you monetizing anything else?
I'm just getting into that. That's why I'm like became a huge fan of what you were doing
Oh, man, appreciate it.
because I've been doing this all wrong for 20 years.
What, like the social media?
I've been making all my money behind the chair. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything behind the chair.
I mean, that's a challenge itself.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's easier ways of making money.
Yep. And it's like I spent so many years watching other people doing it, but never understood it because I'm too busy behind the chair,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
and don't have time to really dive into that.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. That's why I went up on my prices for the same reason.
Yeah, where you go to?
Say it again?
What did you go up to?
Well, right now I'm at 60, and
Mm-hmm.
then with the beard is 100, eyebrows 10,
Wow.
enhancements 10.
Wow, man.
Even with the shears. The shears is a whole, it's a whole nother skill.
Yeah,
You got to part the
Yeah.
hair, and it's too much.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like I got to charge you another 10.
yeah. So tell me what young Jesse, what was young Jesse doing?
Like at what, 25?
25 when you first coming in the industry.
Oh,
Like, what was that Jesse like in the barbershop?
first coming up in the industry. Well, when you're young, you're reckless. So I was doing my thing,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get money however I could.
Yeah.
I even had the warehouse job, was a forklift driver, doing that 10, 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then coming out of there, and then I would go straight to the shop, like at 6 o'clock.
Mm.
Cut hair until midnight. Do it all over again the next day,
Yeah.
I ended up getting fired from there. And I pointed out, but they didn't do it right, so I filed unemployment. I got that, and I was like, you know what? This is the perfect time for me to go to school. Get my L's, get myself right.
Right.
Because we all cutting hair, like most of us cutting hair without your license. It was just
Yeah.
like, it's a side job, Like,
Yeah, I'm glad you called it out. Yeah.
So, and then it was funny because one of my guys, he was like, "Hey, I could get you a job like at $20." At that time, it was great. $20 is probably like 35 now.
Yeah.
Double that. Talking about like 10 years ago, and I was like, man, I really want to see if I could like fully become a barber.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna go to school. I'm like, I appreciate that respectfully, but I'm gonna have to decline.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I went and did the whole school thing. And I had a kid, I had a girl apartment, so it was rough.
Yeah. Yeah. So going from 6 to 12, like what kind of barber was you? Was it a speed barber where you was getting as many as you can?
Man, dude, I've always been a slow barber.
Always been slow,
Oh,
really?
They used to call me moped. That's how slow. Like, I'll take a good hour, an hour and a half. Sometimes even 2 hours, bro. I was that slow.
Yeah.
But I always thought, like I was been a perfectionist, so I just wanted to get it down right.
Yeah.
I was trying to do every haircut the best I could.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So
But
you still slow now?
I'm a little quicker,
Okay.
but not 2 hours. Sometimes it take an hour and a half.
Okay.
Like with the whole beard and enhancements. And I like to conversate with my clients too. Just like their family, you know.
Yeah.
So they come in and we chit chat, we kick it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm behind or I'm in a hurry, like, hey, bro, like today we ain't talking. I tell them straight up, like, we ain't talking today. Like, just look straight,
Right.
don't move.
Right.
Be on your phone. Like, we got to get you out fast today. So
Yeah.
they respect that. They know that, you know, most of the time I'm there to hear them out and they can vent.
Yeah.
It's a relationship, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I try to.
How fast are you with your cuts?
I mean, when I was younger, it was about competing, so it was like 15, 20 minutes at that time until I realized that was like, this is stupid. I'm not doing this. But now, like, I pace myself. Just a straight haircut is about 30 minutes. If I'm doing haircut and beard, 45. With enhancements, shampoo, styling, all that, about an hour. I mean, I can do it in 45 minutes, but I try to pace myself because I do long hours, and because I just, my work habits are starting to catch up with me now. So I have to slow myself down because I'm not, I can't work myself like that and not be in the gym and have a terrible diet and be trying to overwork myself. It's just not gonna work.
I feel like I do like I do get more tired when I work quicker.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
like you just exhausted, right?
mm-hmm. Yes, and then you get towards like the end of the day, and then you have that. I don't really care, and I don't want to be like that. Like I don't want to be like I'm doing just good enough.
Yeah.
But I try to pace myself like right about like 30 minutes. So when I'm working, I do 10-minute intervals. So I work in 10-minute intervals. That means that I'm working on a specific task for 10 minutes straight. After that, I switch to something else. So the first 20 minutes of my haircut, I am not looking for perfection at all. I'm looking to just rough it out. And then the last 10 minutes, that's when I'm detailing.
Gotcha.
Yep. So that's pretty much how I pace myself. What I am interested in, before I ask you this next question, is what made you reach out to me?
Today,
Mm-hmm.
I just see you like, okay, so I've been looking for people, see if anybody wants to do a podcast. And I don't know, like I couldn't find anybody, you know, like I wasn't really looking like that though. I was just kind of like here and there. I'll be like, hey, you want to go and do a podcast or something? And then they'd be like, yeah, we'll see, you know. And I was just like, whatever. I just brush it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then I seen that video that you posted today, and I was like, that's exactly what I know he'll be down. I just know he will be down. So let me hit him up. See where he's up to today. Hopefully he can do it today. Who knows? Maybe. Maybe it'll happen. And now we're here, you know?
Yeah. So what interest do you have in podcasting and doing, like, we're barbers, right?
Yeah.
Most people think like they already think that it's just you're a barber. That's all that you do. It's kind of like an insult, right? But then you have the audacity to want to do something other than just cut hair. Like, what's going on in your mind? Like when it comes to the way you present yourself on social media, and now wanting to do podcasts, it seems like Jesse Elite sees this industry and what you do as a professional, as more than just, I'm just cutting hair.
For sure. Because I feel like my page, and I know a lot of people feel the same way that I do, is they don't have a face to it. They don't have a personality. It's just they just see your hands and a bunch of other dudes in your chair getting haircuts.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to build a brand, you got to show the people who you really are.
Yeah.
You got to show them your personality. So every flaw that we have is actually a good thing. You know, that's what separates you from everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, like I just want to be out there, just be me, and this is what companies look for when they're trying to hire somebody and represent their brand. Is like, who are you as a person?
Yeah.
So that's why I've been, you know, trying to put a mic in front of in front of my face more often, so that, like you said, feel more comfortable and find my voice
Yeah.
and have everybody that could relate to my personality and be like, hey, you know what? I feel the same way he does, and I'm the same way he is.
Yeah.
So that now they're relating at another level, and now you're just bringing another flow of people supporting you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. So, like, we come from the same city. We do a lot of the same stuff. How did you get into this concept of branding?
The whole branding thing. Uh, it just started with like getting views, and then trying to reach out to companies, and they were just rejecting. You know, they didn't see your potential. They didn't believe in you. And I was like, all right, cool. You know, then I believe in me, so I'm just gonna go ahead and build my own brand. And then I started seeing the power behind it. It's like, okay, well, when you have followers and you have views, that means you could sell something. So if you're not selling anything and you're just gathering up followers and getting a bunch of views, then you're really missing out on this other opportunity that you could potentially be making more income.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're not taking full advantage of all these aspects, then you're really cutting yourself short.
Right. Right.
So you should be selling something, even if you don't have the following for it. You don't need a lot of followers to make money. You just need to know how to market yourself properly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you could, we already know how to talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
Since we get people in our chair, like we have to talk to them.
Yeah.
So we already got that out the way. So now we got to do is just be like, hey, you know, support my brand. Here's my shirt, whatever it is that you're selling,
Yeah.
and most of the time they will support you.
Yeah. Yeah. So just it seems like I know what branding is. I know what marketing is. But we in the city where it's like only 3 out of 10 people is gonna be talking this way. Like what was it something that happened in the shop? Were you at a conference? Were you at a networking event where you started learning this concept of personal brand and then like monetizing, or was that something from your upbringing? Like what was that start where it was just like, okay, this can't just be about cutting hair? Was it a period of burnout? Was it, what was it for you?
I think it was all of the above, like you said. I was burned out. I got to a point where I was booked all day, and I lost my motivation. Like I was just like, I even told my girl not too long. Actually, I told her it was a while back. I had told her at one point. I was like, I don't even know if I want to keep cutting hair anymore.
Yeah.
And then she looked at me and she's like, "Dang, you that serious about that?" I was like, "I don't know, man. I just feel like I lost my motivation. Like, I could be doing something else." So I got to that point, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just try different things. Let me make videos. That's when the videos started popping off on Instagram.
Yeah.
So then everything that's new on social media, if you catch it early on, it's always going to work faster and it's going to work to your advantage because of the whole algorithm thing.
Yeah.
So then I started posting videos, and it just like boosted my motivation again. And I was like, damn, all my videos are going viral. And then I realized, like, hey, just because it's old to me doesn't mean that it's old for everybody else. Like the way you cut hair, people haven't seen the way you cut hair, so then they're interested,
Yeah.
And if they could learn something off of you, then you just provided value.
Yeah.
So then you got a new follower, you got new supporters. Like, damn, I'm learning off this dude, and he's giving me free gems for free. Like, why wouldn't I follow him?
Yeah.
And if you could deliver the message even crispy and clear, then it's a lot easier to understand. And audio is always better than video, so that's why I'm trying to get more into audio and podcasts, because if you deliver a message clear, then your value just skyrocketed.
Yeah. What's crazy is that, so I feel like I've always been ahead, but had no idea what to do. I've been listening to podcasts for at least 15, 16 years.
Damn, for real?
I've been messing around with cameras even longer than that. And I'm just now seeing that there's value in it. Like, it's just like, for whatever reason, I think what happened with me was when I didn't get a lot of support from my family. my background is music. So
Mm.
so my family felt like I should have focused on music and, you know, playing whether it's keyboard or organ. And when they found out that I was doing hair, they was like, "Why would you? Why would you do that?" So I spent most of my career trying to prove them wrong, and dug myself right into a hole. Dug myself into a hole where I can't move. I can't even enjoy it. I don't even have the option to say I'm burnt out because I have a family that's dependent on me. So it doesn't matter if I'm burnt out. It doesn't matter. I just gotta push through it. But I felt like I'm on the end of it where because I'm naturally introverted and I'm naturally like to myself and I didn't have that community. Even though I worked for years with dope barbers, right? You know, when I got married, the whole shop was in my wedding with the exception of one barber. So the whole shop was in my wedding, but I still was alone where I'm messing around with cameras, I'm getting into audiobooks, I'm listening to podcasts, and I was never able to see any value in me being able to do something with it until just recently. So now I'm going through this period of time where I feel like, man, I missed a window of opportunity. But then when I got a chance to follow you and I started watching, because I actually heard about you from my god brother. He was the one that told me to just start checking you out. And then I saw you had a class going on. I decided, because I'm always supporting, like I support everybody. Like this, and you had the class and then you had to reschedule and then we talked on the phone. It was like I was instantly energized just off the conversation because I felt like we didn't talk about nothing like spectacular. We were just talking about cameras and class and rescheduling, but it was such a dope connection. And then I went to the class and the gems you was dropping. I feel sorry for everybody that missed out on that one. and even the people that was there, I was kind of scoping the room to see if they really understood just those nuggets that you was putting down. That like you sped up my content creating process by at least 30 minutes.
Wow.
At least 30 minutes, because it was just like certain things I was just missing over. That I was just like, man, that's a dope idea.
But I feel like a lot of people weren't ready. Like that were at the class. I think it was just maybe I had to break it down. See, I had to do it to like realize that because a lot of people it just went. It was too much. It was too much information,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed to do like more of a beginner class because
Yeah.
I think I went too strong.
Yeah.
Where like, if you don't know about videography, it was just like, what, what,
Right.
ISO who, you know?
Right. And it was like, I'm quiet. I keep to myself. I kind of watch, but in my mind, I was thinking like, this dude made cutting hair fun again for me. Cause now it's like, I just want to cut hair so I can get it on camera
Yes, you see,
and then just create something with it.
100%. And then the client that you was cutting, the same dude. Now you get to make a video. Now it's all interesting. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I made a video on this guy. I got to make a video now.
Yeah. And then it was like I was ready to go, and then I got back down again because then it was just like the one thing that you dropped that I don't even think it was supposed to be a part of the class. You was talking about a brand reaching out to you, with like a contract or whatever, and I think your wife, something like that, she looked over it to make sure everything matched up, and I was like, wait a minute, there's a whole nother side of this that I'm completely missing out on. And then I started really, really watching what you post, how you post, the consistency in how you do it, how it's curated, different things that you were trying, and I'm just like, there's no way I can do this with the work schedule that I do, because it didn't look like you was behind a chair every day like how I am.
No, definitely not. You just can't be, bro.
Yeah.
It's
So
almost impossible.
so you indirectly taught me so much stuff. You have no idea that you did that. You have no idea that I'm watching, like, okay, even for me to get to the point where I can really take social media serious, start monetizing all that stuff, I have to create time in my schedule to be able to actually create. And that was one of the things that I just felt like 80% of the class, they're going to go there, they're going to get good information, and then it's going to fade away because they're trying to take the information to see how they can fit it into their current business. And you indirectly showed me that, without saying it, like, I can't do business the way I've been doing it. And I appreciated that.
That was the whole point.
I appreciated, like just opening up my eyes for an opportunity to see that there's so much money we're leaving on the table. And it's not crowded because, like we were talking about earlier, everybody has their own different voice. They have their own different perspectives. So certain brands that may reach out to you, there's another brand that might fit better for me. Like it's so
100%.
much out here because me, I'm on, you know, I know we're talking now, but, and I haven't said this, but BarberSHED is a community of barbers that's geared towards helping overworked, overwhelmed, undervalued barbers to navigate through and out of burnout.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. Like, I help talk that guy from jumping off the ledge. I like coming up with strategies creatively to help them navigate, and I feel like even to do that, I can't keep working the way I'm working. So when you told me you went up to 60 for the cut and another 40 for the beard, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go up. I'm gonna have to go up. And you know, I charge, you know, 65, 70 right now, and that's for the cut and beard, and yeah, I'm doing it in 45 minutes, whatever. But I don't have my time. I don't have time to be in the gym. I need to. I'm not eating right.
Yeah, eating when you're cutting hair, that's a mission alone.
Yeah. So I went on this long tangent and started talking because I feel like one thing we don't do. Chicago has this reputation that we don't support one another.
100%.
We have this reputation of, like, everybody just think better. So I went on that long route to just pay homage to you, give you your flowers, just thank you for the stuff you have no idea that you were even doing. You were just being yourself. And I appreciate that, and I want that to be on camera, documented, that, yes, Chicago barbers support one another.
Yeah, it happens. It rarely happens. Should be happening more often.
Yeah.
Remember the whole thing where, like, I think it's more back in the day when barbershops used to beef on each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think it kind of died out now.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're down the block. Yeah, we don't get along with them. We don't talk to them, you know?
Yeah. I was part of the petty crew at one point in time.
I think it's kind of like a gang thing, you know? I think it's just the Chicago thing. I don't know. People always just want to, like, find reasons not to like each other.
Right. And there's so many more reasons that we actually got so much in common, right? And there's so many more reasons that if we just give it a chance, be like, man, I really like bro. I really like this dude, right? Like, you know, one of the things this past holiday season, I'm watching one of your videos, and I'm like, man, Jesse always cutting with them guards. You know, I'm clip over comb guy. He always cutting with them combs. Like, he needs to pick up that comb. He can speed up if he just pick up that comb. I was tired one day. I did not feel like cutting. I was just like, you know what? I just watched Jesse cut. Let me use his method. Bro, that's part of my arsenal right now when I need to catch up.
Wow.
Hey, you do me a favor on the back of the camera. Can you press that stop button? Yep, there you go. Yeah, so as part of my arsenal now, like when I'm tired and I need to like catch up, or if I'm tired and I don't really feel like being like super creative, I use your methods because it's like you're gonna get the same results every single time.
Definitely. I could be tired, sad, angry,
Yeah.
running my shop, frustrated, hungover,
Yeah.
and it's still gonna come out the same.
Yeah, that's dope. And like I said, I've been doing it. So I'm a clipper over comb guy, right? And it's just always just showing off skill level. Sometimes for fun, I will cut with just my trimmers, just for fun.
Just because you can.
Yeah, killing myself. Why am I? This is stupid. Like, now what would have been a better idea to turn that camera on
Yes.
and film it.
Yeah. Because not everybody could do what you do.
Right.
And how you do it.
And I completely missed that. It completely went over my head that I never thought to do it.
Because we always got to remember, like, just because it's old to us and it's repetitive, this is new
Yeah,
to everybody else,
yeah,
especially to those barber students.
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
the old heads are stuck in their ways and they're going to be like, well, I can't learn anything from this dude. Oh, he's using guards.
Right.
But there's going to be a whole group of people who are going to be like, I
Yeah.
like the guards.
Yeah,
I used to get bashed for I still do. I get bashed for using so many clippers. But here's the thing, though. Like, every clipper cuts different.
yes.
The fade comes out better. Not better, different. Different. When I incorporate different clippers for different sections, it's like, damn, the fade just came out different. It doesn't matter. I use the same method. But if I use one clipper for the same method, it's going to come out different. If I use Andes and the wall mixed,
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, I don't make these rules. It just happens.
It's just so. I mean, it's gonna. Barbers are gonna watch this, so they gonna want to know about clippers and haircuts. Like, what's your favorite clipper?
I think that if I really had to pick one, it would have to be the Masters, corded Masters.
The corded masters. That's a
Yeah.
good choice.
I think it's because I'm more old school.
Yeah.
I don't care about the weight.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would say, it does get hot.
Yeah.
And you have to have your Masters calibrated correctly for it to hit the hardest. Otherwise, it's going to feel like it's clogged.
Do you do more than just modify the tab?
The blade? Or what do you mean?
Yeah, like I don't have my masters out, but the little tab that's on like the back of it that you've been back. Do you do more than just that?
Oh, yeah. You have to, like, take the lid off, and then there's screws in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you twist some of those screws, you reset the whole clipper.
Mm.
And sometimes you can't zero gap a Masters.
Mm-hmm.
So you once you reset everything, you're able to really zero gap it.
Yeah.
So when you adjust all of that, then you reset the side of it.
Yeah.
It has like two little holes.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to turn it all the way. Like you got to tighten it all the way, and then you start to loosen it up until it doesn't make that really loud noise.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And once you get it to that point, that means that your master should be hitting hard. And you try to stop the blade, the moving blade.
Yeah.
If you try to stop it and it's going and it's tearing up your skin, that means that
Yeah. They're good
it's
now.
ready. And then you look at it, you're like, oh, man, this is like over zero gap. I got to like bring down time.
I'm like picturing in my mind like a couple of guys that I know that's gonna watch this. I'm like, what are they talking about? Like the cordless masters don't do that. It's like no. You gotta have the one with
That's
the cord.
a different motor.
Yes.
That's why I was upset when they came out with the cordless. I was like, this is not the same thing.
Right. It looked pretty.
It's good. It's a good clipper. Like,
Yeah.
It's a beast. It eats very well, but I see it more like a wall. It's not really. It's not really a Masters.
Yeah.
The one that comes close to it is the Ulster. What is it? The classic.
The fast feeds?
The fast feeds. The fast
Yeah.
feeds.
Yeah. Do you think that the cordless fast feeds are different than the corded ones?
For sure.
Yeah, I do too.
For sure. And that lever extends very, very wide,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It goes up to like almost a 1.5,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I'm surprised.
Yeah. I think I still like the corded fast feeds though.
Me too.
Them my. If I had to pick just one clipper only, it would be those.
Those are a great choice.
It would be those.
That'd be
But
my second choice.
I would have to modify it though.
You have to,
Yeah, I have to modify.
because if you don't put that the moving blade, the white one,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be zero gapped, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like my stuff zero gapped.
Yeah. So I modify it slightly different. There's a little piece in the inside. I use a tool.
Oh,
And
you old school for real.
yeah, I use a tool, and I have to. This part I don't want to say on camera, but just like I know what you're talking about with the modifying of like the masters, and it was just like Jesse probably could put this on camera, put that modification on camera, like trying to be a little discreet in certain areas because I just feel like, you know, sometimes holding back just a little bit because I mean some people would assume that Jesse only he only popular because he know how to work social media, but one, I watch the way you cut and the way you're talking about those masters. I know, like, no,
No, I know what I'm talking.
Jesse,
I know how to
he
cut
can-
hair.
yeah. So
I think mostly fade. With the shears, I'm okay with the shears.
yeah,
Back in the day, like we used to be like, "Oh, you getting shears?" We don't do shears. I used to be one of those barbers. I don't do shears.
yeah. Have you run into that where somebody just assumed that you're only popular because of what you do on social media, and they question whether or not you can really cut? Have you run into that?
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
No, not really. I guess I post enough videos
To show, yeah.
to actually like.
But you get flack about the guards, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, people are always gonna find something
Right. They're gonna.
to complain about and
Right.
to try to like devalue you.
Right.
That's
Right.
just like, oh well, couple things that they say. You use too many clippers.
Mm-hmm.
I could do it quicker. I could do it one clipper.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you use guards. But here's the thing: when they say, "Oh, I could do that in one clipper," a real barber would do it on a clipper.
All right.
I used to-
Real barber.
When have you heard your clients say, "Oh, how many clippers are you gonna use?" You're gonna use? Oh, no, you can't cut my hair.
Right.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna pay
Right.
you less because you're using more than one clipper.
Right.
They don't care.
Right.
They're not gonna care.
Right. And I think too many barbers like and I've definitely fallen into that category where it's just like we're working behind the chair to appease other barbers and not for the client. Like if we was focused on the client, solely on the client, some of these comments would never bother us. Cause it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It used to bother me at first, because like when you first start getting bashed and people talking smack about you in the beginning, you don't have tough skin.
Yeah.
But after a while, you're just like, man, I heard it all.
Yeah. I think that's probably why I haven't really put myself out there. Because one of my methods, I like cutting wet hair. And I know that's like, some people probably think that that's odd. Like, I like wetting down the hair. I'm doing the mostly curly and wavy hair. And the couple people that seen me do it, it was like, why would you do that?
And those are the things that's going to help you grow the most.
Mm-hmm.
When people can't really relate to you, they're going to like talk smack and they're going to show other people, you see what this guy's doing? Look at him. Oh, I could do better than that.
Yeah, and I always feel like if I put something out, I'm responsible for it, right? So if I make a statement, if I put up a post and somebody comment, I almost feel obligated to like respond. But I seen the comment that you wrote to J Ruff, like
J Ruff?
the guy that I posted this morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And about responding to every DM and all that stuff, and about like if you did that, you wouldn't have a life.
Bro. I get what he was saying,
Yeah,
but it's like I guess I couldn't relate, and
Yeah.
I had to say something, you know.
yeah,
Like I just can't relate to that.
right.
It sounded nice.
Yeah,
It was very clear. He said it perfectly, but it was like, man, I can't do that.
yeah.
So I was gonna scroll out, and I was like, no, I gotta say something.
You gotta say something. Yeah.
It's not that I'm going against him
Right.
or disagreeing with him or saying that he's wrong. It's just like for my case, it just didn't match.
Yeah. And like he said, like you got 300,000. I'm not even gonna point out that you got 300,000 followers because I have to commend you on that because that's like really really dope. But in moving in that direction, do you feel like? I think I know what your answer is going to be. I just want you to say it on camera. Do you think the 300,000 followers on Instagram alone made you who you are, or you always been who you are?
I think it helped me mold myself into who I am now,
Mm.
because I used to think that I'm cold. I'm capping.
Mm-hmm.
I reached my full potential. And then when I really started recording myself and getting judged and starting to see like other people cutting hair, it really humbled me down. I was like, okay, well, you know what? The camera's not lying.
Yeah.
I started to see other fades. Like maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was.
Oh, snap. Okay.
And then I was just like, okay, now that I'm editing my stuff, I started to see flaws, And then I actually got better.
Yes.
Just from recording my stuff and editing it. I was like, man, I think I need to improve in this area, fix this. And, I started seeing mistakes for real.
Yeah.
Because there's some things that you just can't see it,
Mm-hmm.
It's like how they say there's a third eye, the mirror's a third eye, with the camera is a fourth eye.
That's definitely a 4-5. Definitely. I agree.
And then the lighting is like, you don't know how important lighting is.
Yeah.
And it's not just for recording. Like if you have good lighting, you're going to do a better haircut. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you can't overexpose it either, because then now you're just creating glare and you're not going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you can
Yeah.
see it properly, like you do a better job.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
And I've seen that you improved your lighting by far, because now you got a bunch of filter light everywhere.
Yeah.
So I know your haircuts, you probably even got faster.
Mm-hmm. When I stopped cutting with that ring light and I stopped putting my lights at 100% and just kind of so this room, I mean they can't see this on camera, but how I did this room was to get all that light to bounce off this white wall, right? So I just get this nice soft light here. The bottom half here, it being white, I get this nice soft light that come here, so I don't get those shadows in my fade.
Mm-hmm.
Once I started it, I feel like just photography and video just made everything better. Like from being able to see it on the screen, you're able to see all those faint lines that you can't see, and then just I just felt like cutting hair for content just made it just fun all over again. Like just it's fun. I feel like I want clients that want to be a little more adventurous. All of my guys are kind of like they get what they get, and it's cool. But I feel like I missed out on the opportunity of growth because I hadn't put myself out there and allowed myself to go through that process of being scrutinized and judged. I think if I would have did that early on, I would be much better. I think if I wasn't so isolated to myself and had community around me, that would have helped out. But what do you say to like that guy that kind of like talks like me that feel like it's too late?
I don't think it's too late. I don't think it's too late. I just think you just got to get started.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you said that, okay, well, you know, your clients are not that. They get basic haircuts, right? Basically.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the haircuts that most of the people get on a daily basis. So that's going to help them the most.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's going to come in and ask color and all this style. Like, that's mostly at hair shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool, you know, like that's very creative. But to me, like I get more out of views, out of a content is sometimes the most basic one, like the
Yeah.
one on the side
Yeah.
for like a lawyer. And then some people would be like, damn, that's a dope, classic, simple haircut.
Yeah.
Everybody gets that in their chair eventually.
Yeah.
So when people struggle in somewhere, like you said before, you know, like you picked on something and I didn't even know I provided the value for. It's gonna happen to when you post something. Sometimes you're just gonna post it and you're not gonna think anything of it, and you're gonna help so many people already.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and taking a little turn and even talking all that, talking about that, for you, all the things you're into. You're into content creating, obviously. You're behind the chair. You're a salon owner, right?
Yeah, I got a barbershop,
Got a barbershop, just the one?
just one.
Do you do anything else outside of that?
I mean, I got my studio.
It's got a
Yeah,
studio.
do all this stuff like how you're doing it,
Yeah.
and then just basically social media.
So out of all those different areas of your life, like, what's the most important thing to you?
I think at this point, I would say maybe the content creating.
Yeah.
But then again, I can't ever stop cutting hair because that's the content I record.
Yeah.
So without cutting hair, I don't have any content.
Yeah.
I guess I could review clippers, but that's going to get boring too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always going to have fun cutting hair.
Yeah.
Even if it's the same haircuts. I do get bored sometimes doing the same dude, same haircut.
Mm-hmm.
That gets old after a while, you know? So that's why sometimes I'd be like, man, I get bored of making content too sometimes.
Yeah. What do you have in place, or what are you doing to stop that from happening? To stop you from getting burnt out from content creating?
Doing stuff like this, I guess. Trying something new.
Trying something new. Nice.
So now the whole podcast. I want to put my personality out there, my character.
Yeah.
If I could like maybe drift a little bit, maybe off of cutting hair. I'm not saying completely, but like maybe just a little bit.
Yeah.
Something more inspirational. That'd be cool, you know?
Yeah.
Just switch it up. See where this leads.
Yeah.
Get better at talking, you know?
Yeah. Are you naturally introverted, or are you more extroverted?
I would say introverted. It took me a while to get out of my comfort zone, bro. That was difficult. Especially that class. You know how hard that was for me to do that? That's one of those things that I was scared of. I had a phobia. Not really to be in front of people talking, because I do the meetings and everything at my barbershop, so I'm used to talking in front of people. It was more or less like throwing a class.
Yeah.
And not be able to fill it up.
Yeah.
And just have 1 or 2 people. That was my phobia.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
And I was like, I'm so scared of doing that. So that means that's what I got to do then. If I'm scared of doing that, I'm going to have to go and conquer my fear. And after I did it, I was like, okay, now I feel better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean, because I stutter really, really bad.
That's me.
I like when I was younger, it was like really, really bad, to the point where I just didn't really talk that much. And when I started cutting hair, it was just about the creativity, right? It was about being able to take a guy from looking like how he looking to now he getting attention. And then you started doing this as a career, and I realized, oh snap, I gotta talk to people. And that was the one thing I didn't want to do. And one of the shops I work at, if you wasn't busy, you were required to grab a stack of cards and go out and pass out cards. So I kept myself busy all the time, whether I was working on clients or I'm sweeping up, cleaning, I'm doing everything I can do to get out of having to go out and pass out cards. Cause I'm not afraid of people. It's just, if I start stuttering and somebody say something crazy, I'm gonna get bad. It's just gonna turn into a thing, and I don't really want that, right? So I had to find a way of how was I gonna build a clientele, and I don't really like talking to people. So the first thing was I had to get really, really good behind the chair, and then the next thing was there was this thing called the internet. So I've been on the internet since, like, marketing myself since Black Planet and MySpace.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Wow,
I've been.
I don't even know what Black Planet is.
Yeah, it was a thing, and it was like I figured out by 2009, like, I don't need a lot of followers. Like, I only just needed the right followers. So it was like all I needed to do is make sure I had 1,000 people that were locally, like within the 25 to 30 mile radius.
Yeah.
That's all I did for years. That's all I did. And to fast forward, I can't believe that I'm turning this camera on to myself. I can't believe that I'm on this microphone, because this is the one thing that I've avoided. But I realized that me doing this, I'm discovering more about myself that I didn't even know was there. I'm discovering that it's more untapped value in me that's been lying dormant, and that when you reached out to me and said, hey, let's do something, my natural instinct was find something to do, get busy doing something else. I didn't have time. But then it was just like, no, I remember this happening before. And being able to connect with somebody new, we end up just discovering something new like this, and it was like a new level of growth. So I wanted to take the opportunity to just do it and come more out of my comfort zone. Do you have similar situations for yourself, like people who you've connected with that you can relate with that, whereas it's like they've stretched you out of your comfort zone and they inspire you, and who would those individuals be?
Man, dude, hell yeah. I even had stage fright before. And it was a class that they had at Alhambra a couple years back.
Mm-hmm.
It was a barbershop, so we did a class. And it was Diego, and what's the other fella? He was like a Chinese guy. I can't remember his name right now. Very
Caesar?
Yes. So it was them two, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm up there. They do this all the time. It was nothing. It was like a walk in the park. And I'm over here choking,
Yeah.
having stage fright. And I'm just like, and they're like, don't worry about it, bro. Like, we all go through that. It's normal. Like, we just act like this because we're comfortable already. Like, we already found ourselves.
Yeah.
That and a bunch of other people that I've always surrounded myself with, and they seen that I would get nervous, and they would just remind them of when they were in that position.
Yeah.
So then that just kind of made me feel more comfortable. Like, okay, well, everybody goes through this.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody. Some people are just born like this and whatever, you know?
Yeah, they're weird.
But like you and me, like, I'm shy. I'm a shy guy.
Yeah.
I used to hate social media. Like, don't bring me around social media. I don't like that. That's not even.
I would never guess that.
That's not my cup of tea. Like, get the cameras away from me. And now it's like I live social media.
Right.
And now I have to be proper and, be a good influence.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to watch out what you say. The more following and the more influence you have, like, you got to say certain things, and there's certain things you can't do.
Yeah.
So now I got to learn how to move and talk.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to offend somebody and somebody's going to take it the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah. So social media is your thing. That's would you say that to be true? That's something that you've mastered and are mastering?
Well, I wouldn't say I mastered it yet, because then I would be a millionaire. Because all these
Yeah.
all these social media gurus are millionaires.
Yeah.
But that's something I would like to get to. Just like how I wanted to become a full-time barber. Now, eventually, I want to become a full-time content creator.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, I don't need any other income. That's like, I'll have other income, obviously, because we're entrepreneurs. But, like, that would be, like, my main source of income.
Yeah. How, if you had to measure it, how far from that are you from that being a reality?
Man, I don't know. I guess it's one of those things that it's just going to happen until I find my niche or that one thing that I'm missing, that piece that you're missing.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't really know what it is until you're like, try everything, and then something just clicks and you just be like, that's it right there. I didn't know I was looking for that, but that turned out to be what it is, what it was. So, like when I started doing the whole beard thing, and that's what really helped me kick it off, I didn't know that was a thing that was going to like help me get all these followers, you know?
Yeah.
But then I started to realize, okay, well, this part of my content was really blowing up, so let me just keep doing that. Did I like doing that? Not really.
Yeah.
I just like to cut hair, but if that's what's working, well, then that's what I'm going to keep pushing out there.
Yeah. So would you say for you, your method was to keep pushing, keep trying until you discover something new?
Yeah, just keep trying everything.
Yeah.
Keep experimenting. Like you said, you just got to find yourself and see what it is that you like and just keep trying things and not be scared, you know? Like, people are going to judge regardless. F them. It doesn't matter. And if anything, if they don't like it and if they start to judge, it just becomes even more viral.
Mm.
So, like, if people talk about you in a negative way, it's just going to blow up even more.
Yeah.
So if they start to see you, oh, you're stuttering, or you have a gap in your tooth, or you just look weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the things that's actually going to help you.
Yeah, that actually help. Yeah. Yeah. So do you think that, is it safe to say that your audience, based off the content you make, is the barber community?
Most of it.
Okay. So do you think that a lot of times us trying to get it perfect and get everything right is really what's holding us back from discovering that next level?
Yeah, 100%. Because if you try to make it perfect all the time, it's just going to take way too much time.
Yeah.
And those imperfections is what gives you character. Otherwise, you're just going to be dull.
Yeah.
If it's too perfect, it becomes dull. It's like
That's
black
good.
and white.
That's good.
Like, throw some color in there. Throw some mistakes.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, throw some sauce, whatever.
When was the first time you discovered that?
When I started posting, sometimes you just don't really realize like all your little flaws or imperfections or your own way of doing things until people start pointing them out. And then you just be like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I do see that. And I used to break the corner off my Speedo guides, the guards, and I wouldn't think anything of it. I used to break them off on purpose because it would get closer. Like the 2 zeros would turn into like a 3 zeros, right? It would be real close. And then people would be like, damn, you can't even afford a new guard. And I'm just like, oh, but you know what? I'm thinking to myself, like, you don't even know. I do that on purpose. So then I started like talking about it. Like, hey, I break that corner so I could get closer. So then I started creating that content.
Yeah,
became
that's
valuable.
good. That's good.
But I would have never known that if I didn't record it and if I wouldn't have posted that, you know? So this is things that you do that is very unique that a lot of people don't show it because either they think that it's wrong or they just don't want to get judged.
Yeah. Yeah. So you like discovering new things?
Oh, for sure, you know?
Yeah. That's good.
Then, like, you get to know yourself a little more.
Yeah. What's more important to you? Discovering new things about yourself or maintaining a certain image and persona before people?
I would say I kind of try to balance it because I still want to keep a positive image so that companies feel comfortable reaching out to me and representing their brand if they need to.
Yeah.
So I still got to be some type of influence, positive influence.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, break away a little bit from that. And if I have to speak my mind about certain things, as long as it's not offending people at a very, drastic way, then I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So you know how, like, people used to go back and forth about, like, enhancements and no enhancements? Mm-hmm. I did touch that subject a little bit, but then it started to become toxic.
Yeah.
Like people were just going at war with each other.
Yeah.
Then I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna step away from that.
Yeah.
It's a little too much. At
Right.
first, it was like just a debate. Now it's an argument.
Right. Right. It's like don't even respect people's opinion no more. It's just like you either think the way I think or you trash.
Yeah,
And that's whack.
like not everybody's gonna work the same way.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, who cares? Let them do whatever they want. They want to paint a whole dude's face, and the guy's paying you $200 for it. Like, what do you
Yes.
care?
Right.
What does it bother you?
Right.
I don't get it.
You press that button for me. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think these debates that we have as barbers on the internet is what makes me like when you look at like my Explorer feed, it's musicians, basketball, maybe a couple of chefs here and there. I really don't really watch a whole lot of barber stuff except for people who I'm directly connected with. Because of that same reason, it's just how toxic it can be. Like it's draining. I feel like because especially here in Chicago, we know it all. So we just know everything, right? And we miss out on so many opportunities. Like my personal biggest influence come from the East Coast. Like, barbers there, I remember the first time I seen Tyrese Jackson, his work inside a Salon Sense magazine. And I saw like his work. I was like, that's what I want to do. Like Chicago, we have our look, right? There's a certain look about the way that we cut hair, but it's like when I saw people like Tyreek, Fahim Anderson, Fahim Alexander, Kenny Duncan. Me and Kenny, we became real cool. I just saw like over in other cities, like they were way more open to share and build relationships, and then I started feeling like we don't have that here. And now I'm thinking that's not true. We just don't open our mouths. We got way more people here in Chicago that's willing to network and help one another out. I just think, and people here in Chicago that of strong influence. When J. Ruff came in yesterday and he's getting back in, I feel like it's going to be a brand new energy. I feel excited and motivated. I feel like competing again. I feel like I need to get in the gym. I feel like having you here in the space. I mean, I'm purposely not bringing up certain things about like your social media presence and how it's a significant impact that you have on social media when it comes to like barbering. But I feel like you said, like you're discovering something new, and it's like that's something that you do all day, every day, and you probably want to talk about something else.
No, I mean I like I like talking about it. I don't mind.
You don't mind?
Not at all.
But even that, the fact that you don't even mind talking about it, like Chicago barbers, hairstylists, barbers, we just kind of like the game is to be sold, not told, right? We have that, and there's some truth in that. I mean, you should sell stuff. You should always have something to sell. But going back to that class that you did, you gave out way more information than what we paid for. Like, and you said it. You was talking, and that class wasn't even ready for it. But I still felt like you had a heart to help. You weren't trying to like bring a bunch of people in the class and add up. Okay, if I charge this and I got these many people, it didn't seem like it was just about the bag. It seemed like you really wanted to help people like really grow. And the reason why I'm taking my time and I keep talking about the same thing, because it's like everybody's trying to go to Atlanta. Everybody's trying to go to, Texas to find this type of help and community. Like, no, like we
You know
got
what it
people here.
was? Since it was my first class, I felt like I didn't really have, which I didn't. I didn't have the full like experience.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how it is when you do something the first time. It's okay to undercharge, because like if you undercharge, then everybody's gonna feel like they got a lot for their dollar,
Mm-hmm.
where they might even advertise you or be like, I got hooked up. I feel like I came up. So I wanted everybody to feel that way.
Yeah.
So I over deliver and underpaid, undercharged,
Yeah.
so that everybody that left that class left with a good positive impact.
Yeah.
So if I want to have more in the future, they're going to be like, I recommend it, or
Yeah.
they might even come back for whatever it is that they missed, or they feel like they need to come and redo it.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that you say that, because I did that on purpose for the same reason.
Yeah. And it's like, do you realize how many barbers like go to a class, take notes, and then they doing a class regurgitating the same stuff that they just wrote down
Hmm.
and charging way more.
Have you noticed that there's a lot of people now doing content creating classes?
Mm-hmm.
You seen that? I don't think, when I did that, I don't think there were any other content creating classes. I think I just opened that door
Yeah.
and I didn't care.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Let me step into this content creating world, even though it's not like fully for barbering,
Yeah.
but I don't care. Like, let me just step
Yeah.
into it. And now I see people doing it.
Yeah. And even like I would never call it content. I mean, I didn't call it, but people come in here, bring your camera in here and you light whatever you have and I'll show you how to do it. But like you said, like nobody was really in the barber community doing a content creating class, not for hairstylists. I mean, you may have I know a couple of people that were doing it, but we weren't calling it that, and it wasn't packaged in the way that you presented. I feel like what you were trying to do was show people how to better present themselves online, to build up their personal brand, to open up opportunities to make more money online, doing the stuff that they're already doing.
Yep.
If I had to sum it up, that's what.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
You completely nailed it, because you don't only just get paid through selling products through your brand. You also get paid monetizing and then endorsements.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the company doesn't pay you, like if they're giving you free clippers, which Gamma does very well doing, if they give you, and Babyliss too, they'll give you free clippers. If they give you free stuff, I mean, if you think about it, these clippers are not cheap nowadays. Everything's going for like what, $250?
Yeah.
So if they give you the trimmer and the clipper, now you're at like close to $500.
Yeah.
So if they give you this, it's like, okay, well, it's already a come up, and then you're getting monetized. Now that's passive income. You're getting the whole audience. Now you have potentially of having a class. I mean, that's eventually what you want to end up at, having a class.
Yeah.
And just keep it. This is what I always tell people: like, don't be afraid to give gems away, because even if you give all your gems away, there's going to be certain things that is not going to be enough. There's going to be gaps, right?
Yeah.
Where they're not going to be able to like fully replicate what you're showing in the video. So then they're going to ask for that class.
Right.
And that's when you come in with the class and be like, okay, if you want something more in depth, which they will ask you, because everybody wants to, and my DMs are full of like people asking me questions. It's like, bro, I can't give you a class through a DM.
Right.
Even if I did, like, let's be honest, it's not worth it for me.
Yeah.
Like, where am I benefiting out of this? I guess I could help people, but then I gotta help him, her, and everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, what about my family?
Yeah.
What about myself? I need help.
Right. Man, I feel like here, like I'm gonna always talk about like Chicago barbers and things that we're doing here, because I'm intentionally trying to counter what we always hear about Chicago on the news. It's always a killing. It's always some robbery. The carjacking of the past 2 years have been ridiculous. And I just feel like it's always, every time you turn on the news, it's always another sad story. And it's like, I feel like, yeah, Chicago has that reputation, but it's really dope people here in this city. I just so happen I'm a barber, so I know the people that come to my salon, and I know the other barbers that are around, and I'm gonna always try my best to kind of just represent and just kind of put a positive spotlight on, like, it's some really good people here in the city. Um, with that being said, do you feel like you're a Chicagoan to the core, or do you have your eyes on a different city?
I think that Chicago's always going to be my city.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like representing Chicago because we are different. We carry ourselves different. And even if I try not to do it, when I go to another town or another show or whatever, people see that. You're like, oh, you carry yourself different. You're more like urban, but not New York.
Yeah,
So we have our own swag to it.
yeah,
With that being said, I do like my Chicago-ness / like Hispanic,
mm-hmm.
so that I could feel like I could represent not only Chicago but also the Latin community.
Yeah,
Just because of my accent,
mm-hmm.
because I have an accent, it comes off sometimes a little stronger than other times, and I feel like they're shy because they feel like they have an accent too. So they're like, I don't want to like come off and say things wrong, and it's like, it's okay, like, look at me, I'm over here stuttering.
Yeah.
And not just that, like, there's just one category of the Latin, but like just in general, representing Chicago.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of dope ass barbers in Chicago everywhere. There's a bunch of them. They just don't grab the camera.
Yeah. 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 It's
Chicago is full of talented barbers.
Full of
You
talented
go
barbers.
to a local barber competition, and it's like, God damn,
yeah.
these dudes are sick.
I agree.
And then you'd be like, like, what's your social media? I have one, but I don't really use it. Like, I'm not really with that.
Yeah. But I know you have to hear this and see this. That so many people feel like if I just learn how to cut better, then I can have a successful business behind the chair. Do you think that that's a false ideology?
Yeah, because and I feel like a lot of people who agree with this is that customer service and the way you present yourself outshines skill, right? Every single time. You can be the coldest barber, but if your work ethic is not there, you're not really gonna make it. If you're a professional and you know how to carry yourself, you're gonna have your chair spinning all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Same thing with the social media. You don't have to be the dopest barber, but if you know how to record and market yourself and be consistent,
yeah,
you're gonna have the most followers.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that's exactly where I was going. I was saying was there a correlation between that and the social media, because you have so many of us that won't post our work because we feel like I'm not turning my camera on until my work starts looking like this certain way, right? So they won't turn the camera on.
Yeah.
And I started realizing that a lot of times that dope work that we see on social media, it looked like that because they turned their camera on. It looked like that from the video editing to the lens choice to I'm gonna say the editing again. I forgot who was that exposed it. I think Andrew Does Hair was the first person I seen expose the photo editing in Photoshop with the blends.
Yeah.
He was the first one that I seen kind of like just like expose it. Like, look, this is what those guys are doing.
And this is what I see all the time with when they make videos.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the fade. The fade is stupid high, right? There's no corner, gone. And then they come in with the lining with the razor, and all of a sudden they have a shadow. It's like, damn well they use the enhancements.
Yeah.
Did they put it in the video? Of course not.
Right. They took that out.
Took that off.
Yep.
Is that foul play?
To somebody, yeah.
But at the same time, is marketing, and if you fall for that,
Yeah.
then
We fall for it all the time. When you see these billboards with these sandwiches and burgers,
That's what marketing is.
yes, that's all that it is.
So if that's helping him grow as a barber and do better for himself and put food on his table,
Yeah, he needs to
cares?
keep doing it.
keep doing it.
Yeah,
You're not hurting anybody else. And,
Yeah.
and they're falling for that, well then, I'm sorry to say, but it's their fault for being ignorant. You can't slow yourself for anybody, really.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? I feel like he's not gonna. He's gonna. I'm gonna send him off. So I'm not gonna put money in my plate because he's gonna think that I'm a fraud.
yeah, yeah. Something I do want to ask you. Your haircuts that you do for social media, like when you're specifically, whether you're representing a brand, whether you're trying to gain new followers, what's the difference between those haircuts and the ones you do just on your regular clients? Is there any difference, or do you spend more time on those haircuts?
To be honest with you, I could record every single haircut that I do. That's why I spend so much time. I could turn on the camera at any point, and the haircut's gonna be the same whether the camera's on or off. And at the same time, I get my clients used to this type of service that they don't expect anything less.
Yeah,
So they're gonna be like, "Damn, you're only gonna cut me like this when the camera's on? You better have the camera on rolling then."
yeah,
But that's why I charge them this much, is because like I'm gonna put give it my all.
yeah,
Every haircut that you get in my chair is gonna be video ready. It's
Video
gonna be
ready.
like, you know how some people get their models and then they plan for content. Like I'm doing that shit all day.
yeah,
And I don't pick who comes. Like,
Yeah.
they just booked it. Oh, I guess, okay. In the morning, I'll be like, or the night before, I'll be like, let me see who's going to come. Oh, okay, I could do a video at this time. I already did this dude like 100 times. I can't make the same video on the
Right.
same guy with the same haircut all the time. So I'm like, I'm going to skip him. Oh, this guy is always going to. There's certain people that if I remake the video, it doesn't matter how many times I've done it, it's going to hit every time. I don't know why. Like,
yeah.
maybe people think that they're good looking. I don't know. Whatever the case is, people like to see this dude get a haircut.
So you just dropped something else. So you're saying that it's okay to repost the same type of content.
I put all my stuff on Google Drive, and when I don't feel like making content, or I'm not feeling myself, or whatever the case is, I'm just gonna throw the content back in motion. I try to do the ones that hit the hardest because I already know those are gonna hit.
Yeah,
So I'll just keep recycling. I call that recycling content.
yeah, yeah. When you said that in the class, and I went back and I looked at your social media, I was like, why didn't I
It's
see
the
this
same
before?
people. You go through my social media content, you're gonna see the same guy
I was like,
100 times.
yes. And then I'm looking at the numbers now because you got us to start paying attention to like the numbers. I'm seeing like the consistency in the engagement that you get. I was like, man, I've been doing this all the way wrong. So if I can be selfish, can I ask you a content creating question?
Of course.
From the time you turn that camera on to the process of posting, what's your approach? Do you like? So I tell you the problem that I'm having, and then maybe your answer will help with like clarity for me. So I take my SD card out of the camera, I put it in the computer, and I load it on to my computer. I try my best to put it in a folder to manage it, but I noticed like after a month, I just kind of get lost with what's there. And I heard you mention that you got everything in the Google Drive. Your process from getting out of the camera onto the computer to posting, what method do you use to keep everything organized? So that you don't get bottlenecked, or do you get bottlenecked where it's like you got files everywhere?
You're talking about the clips, the raw clips?
Yep.
So I'm using the Black Magic, and these are raw. So
A massive file.
massive. I have to delete them. So I delete my clips, but then I keep the main video right? So then I put my video into like a Google Drive. So I keep the main videos. I get rid of the
You get rid of
get
that.
rid of them. I have to. This is way too much. One clip could be 1 gig, 2 gigs, 3 gigs.
Right. See, I was keeping everything.
I guess you can, but for me, it's impossible.
Yeah.
I would have to have a tower with like 100 gigs more.
How do you have your files?
Not even gigs. I have. Let me rephrase it. I have one memory card that's a 4 terabyte, and the Samsung is a 2 terabyte. So gigs is already out of the equation.
Yeah.
I can only record like 4 or 5 haircuts on a 2 gig, 6, 7 haircuts on a 4 gig.
So, why? And I know the answer to this, but I just need you to say, why would you record in that way, raw? Why would you record raw in those massive files? Why can't you be like everybody else and get a regular DSLR? Why you had to get the Blackmagic? Why did you do that?
Okay, so Blackmagic is notorious for the color, right? So if you know how to color correctly, it's just going to have a different look to it. Because when you add color to a video that already has a filter on it, because if it has color, it has a filter on it. So if you look at it like a coloring book, and you want to color a coloring book, it's gonna come off a little weird. The colors are gonna be a little off. But when you throw color into a raw file that is black and white, more so like gray, right? And you put the color in there, the colors they're just gonna like sit a lot better because it's raw.
Yeah.
And color correcting is more important than the actual resolution. It just looks better.
Why is that important to you?
Because not a lot of people are doing the color correction, so I want to stand out.
Yeah, to do it to stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do record in 6K so that I could zoom in and still keep my pixels. Because when let's say you record 1080 or 4K and then you zoom in to a certain extent, it just starts to look blurry because the pixels are expanded.
Yeah. That was one thing I got from you. So I don't have the 6K camera, guys, but I did take the 1080 and I edit on a 720p timeline.
Okay. So you can zoom in.
Yep. I took the same method, and I realized that like the average person looking at what I'm doing, they don't know the difference. Their eye isn't even really trained to know the difference between 4K and 1080. I get so many messages about like, oh man, you shooting with that 4K camera. I'm like, dude, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that at all.
You know what it is too? Is because you use good lighting.
Yeah.
Lighting is going to be super important. So you probably drop your ISO.
Yeah, ISO is on 100.
So then there's no noise, and then it's going to be super clear.
Yeah. That was once I learned that, you know, I kind of feel like taking, you know, your class, taking classes that I gotten from Raymond to Oregano, classes that I've been, you know, virtual classes from Andrew does hair and Tab cuts hair. I got those are like my mentors. Once I learned a little bit more about the camera, how to work the camera, you know, things got better for me, right, as far as visually. But once I got into lighting, that changed everything.
Everything.
It made my phone look better.
Yeah.
It made my old phones look better. It's just everything was just better. And I like that you said that it was just about being different, right? Like you invested in those cameras so that you can be able to zoom in and manipulate the photo the video however you want without losing that quality that you wanted. But shooting in RAW, now you have control over that color. And it's like, if somebody's listening quick, all they hear is like, man, what are they talking about? But the main thing you just said, it was like, I wanted to be different from everybody else.
Yep.
your videos are absolutely different than all of us that's on there. Like, I know that I can't compete. My camera can't compete with that Black Magic just in and of itself. But I do know finding my voice, finding what I'm good at, finding what's unique about me, that levels the playing field, because it's just like cutting hair. It ain't what clipper you're using, it's the person that has the tool in their hand. And I think that there's enough out here where we can share the same space and be good. There don't have to be any fighting. There don't have to be any
Yeah.
no beef, nothing like that. Because the things that I'm into, things that I do, you do something completely different.
Exactly.
And I feel like I've said it enough. Like, you've been an inspiration to me. You've inspired me, motivated me when I lost motivation. And I think that recording content like this and coming together like this is my main objective, is to put this out. Some younger barber, maybe even somebody that's not younger, they just been in it just as long as us, but they're stuck. They can just hear that one little thing that moves the needle for them, where they can just make that next step forward and rediscover something new. That's what I hope people would get out of this. How do you feel?
I think that's perfectly said. And that's what I've been saying lately. That if you're trying to grow your platform, you need to be able to like contribute value.
Yeah.
So if you could change people's way of thinking or give them a solution to a question they've been having for a while, they can't find the answer to, then we just elevated ourselves, and now we gain some respect. We just gained a loyal follower or whatever it is, a supporter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like how we changed the lives of the people that sit in our chairs. You know, we contribute to their self-esteem and the way they carry themselves for the rest of the day. Like, if we could help those people that are following and constantly watching our content, they're going to treat us the same way. They're going to be quick to support us when we have something, when we ready to have a show or have a brand or a class, because we've been giving value to them. Now they want to contribute and give back to us.
Yeah.
Now they have the mutual respect, and we never met them, but you see them in person and they show you mad love.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say, just to kind of sum up everything, it seems like what we've been kind of touching on is one. I'm trying my best to show, like, Chicago barbers support Chicago, like this, and I'm paying homage to you on camera, just acknowledging what you've personally done for me. That way I'm not just speaking generally, like, oh man, you really helped me, but I can't tell you nothing specifically. I'm telling you specifically what it is. But I think the one takeaway that I think, and then you may see something different, is that we both been talking about, like, trying something new to discover something new about yourself, and using that uniqueness about yourself to help you stand out.
It's a strength. So
Yeah.
whatever your flaw, or you think it's a flaw, it's actually your strength.
Yeah.
The stuttering.
Yeah.
That's you. And I haven't even heard you stutter.
Right.
Stutter. See,
Right, I know.
you see how I didn't say that right? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. 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 For mine, it could be a lot worse, but I just think because I'm comfortable right now, and then I'm in the shop, so me being in my own space, home court, it's like, I'm good, but is it anything, before we go, is it anything that you want people to know about what's going on new with you, what you have planned for this year, anything new that you're trying to work on and improve on so we can watch your journey.
I think this whole like podcast, I would like to tap in a little more. Speaking, getting my words to be able to provide more value.
Yeah.
So basically, say less but mean more.
Yeah.
And get more into education. I feel like education is really where the money's at.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And building my platforms.
Yeah.
Because I see these guys becoming millionaires off
Mm-hmm.
of platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always a passive income. Like, we don't have to sell drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't sell drugs. So I got to find another way to make money. And I don't want to be behind the chair all day.
Yeah.
That kills your health after a while.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
I know. Believe me, I know.
not only that,
Press that one more time. Yep, last time.
but it keeps you away from everything else, even your family,
Yeah. Yeah. How was this for you?
I think this was great.
Yeah, I think.
It was definitely a good practice.
Yeah.
So maybe next time we could do it in my studio, just kind of switch the scene a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe, so it seems like you already got this packed down. I haven't done it yet, so me doing it is probably gonna like not be as good, but
Oh man, no.
I need to get my practice.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Another thing that I would like to tap into is like stepping it out away from the barber game a little bit. Maybe talk about other topics, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Since I already feel like I got the platform where I could perhaps touch another topic, besides barbering, because
Yeah.
there's a lot bigger industries out there,
Yeah. So I mean, maybe you might be interested. I'm getting ready to start a book club. Not about barbering. Like, I mean, I love this. This is how I take care of my family, but I'm at a point where I can care less about a haircut. Like, I've been this at 20. I'm 24 years in. I'm not exactly sure how long you've been behind the chair, but
18.
18
So,
years.
yeah, you taking me
Yeah.
6 years.
So, I mean, I'm discovering that it's just, and it's like, it's crazy to say you're discovering it, but it's more to life than just being behind this chair. And I think I'm starting a book club for the sole purpose of just learning something new outside of. So the first book that I'm going to introduce to like my little small group is Who Moved My Cheese. Have you heard it?
No, I just recently started reading books. Not even reading them. Audio books.
Yes, audiobook that's my go-to. Yeah. So Who Moved My Cheese is the next one, and just more so, I think I want to just come and maybe once a month, just like see if we can point out some of those gems, those like takeaways, like those tangible takeaways, not just like, oh, it was a good book, but you weren't able to pull nothing from it, right? Like just being able to read something and then use it like immediately. I mean, I've been doing audiobooks for forever.
Really?
Oh yeah,
It's something new to me, but I like
something new. So
Yeah.
I got into audiobooks because I couldn't. Anytime I sat down and read, it's slob all in the book because I fell asleep. And when my family was growing, and I felt like they needed more from me than I was able to offer, there was no way as a man I can look at my son and know that there's more that I could do, and I just didn't. I couldn't do that. So it was like, for me, it was like, by any means necessary, I'm going to learn something. So I got into audiobooks. My first book was 12 Daily Habits to Guarantee Tomorrow's Success by John C. Maxwell.
Okay.
And I only listen like 15 minutes at a time before I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I did it in 15-minute increments. So I'll listen for 15 minutes and then I'll stop. And I did that every single hour. I would listen on with my headphones 15 minutes every hour. Sometimes I'll have to go back and re-listen to the same thing. But now, I mean, I can listen to audiobook for 6-7 hours straight and retain like 70% of the information.
Damn.
But my secret hack is that I listen at either 1.5 times the speed or 2 times the speed.
I didn't know you could do that.
Speed it up.
Yeah, because it'd be slow.
Yeah.
It'd be slow sometimes.
And the reason why I speed it up is because if someone's talking fast, it makes you listen more. Because you're trying to hear what they're saying, so you're more in tune to it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So when I first started doing that, I would do it at like 1.25 times the speed, and then I work my way up. So that means if it's a book that's 7 hours, I'm getting it done in
half.
Yeah. So I can get through books fast.
I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. I'm gonna try that. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
So just give me a gem.
Yeah, that's the hack. I'm trying to give you something.
No, you give me a lot more than what you think, for real.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was a good experience already.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Like this is actually like my first like true podcast. No, I did one before, but this is like the first barbering podcast.
Really?
Yeah. So definitely a good experience. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, I'm glad to, and I feel like I've been holding myself back just talking about stuff that I feel like we have a lot in common, and we probably can keep just be talking forever. I think we could, but I feel like if it's cool with you, you know, if we want to get together and do something together, again, like you said at your studio, I'm up for it.
Yeah, man, we got to.
So
we're gonna get practice.
Yeah,
I think that I don't know who's gonna edit this. It's either you or your son. You do yourself.
Probably. I'm gonna try to get him in on it. But more like I do the most of the majority of it.
I think this is gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see what comes out of this. You know.
Yeah. So for the most part, just like heads up, like how we've been talking, I'm gonna have a long format where I'm just gonna leave it raw, like just as is. But then I'm gonna pull out those moments. For
those go very well with TikToks and even Instagram, even now with YouTube, the shorts.
Yes.
Now they started paying with that too. It started February 1st.
So I feel like I really need to come connect with you so I can learn more about that. Because like I said earlier, like I'm only doing everything from behind the chair. Like, yes, I know how to retail. I know how to upsell my tickets. I do well behind. I do pretty good behind the chair, but I'm exchanging my time for it, and I don't want to do that no more. So I feel like I definitely want to come and be in your space and just see you create, and we talk about more on the content creating, or talk more about how is the audiobook journey going for you.
We do whatever.
Yeah. All right. Jesse, man, I appreciate you. How can people stay connected with you?
Oh, well, they can reach me on my social media platforms. They'll have the same name, which is Jesse, Jesse, .elite, ELITE, 87. I got TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. What else? Instagram, of course.
Yeah.
And Facebook now.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, Facebook's paying very well, man.
I heard that. I want to know more about that.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. What's your preferred method to be contacted? Is it either one of the platforms, or is it one particular that you like?
Instagram
is the best one? Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm at the most of the time.
That's cool.
So I get messages throughout all of them, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Too much.
So I'll make sure that you tagged in every single clip, and I'll redirect people your way.
Appreciate you,
bro. I appreciate you coming out this way.
It was a great experience, bro.
Thank you, man. All right, welcome to the shed. All right. Oh, man.
That was good.
Man, I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, that was fun too, man. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie, a little whiskey would have been nice too. We could do that at my spot.
Okay.